wanted to use
Really sure.
This is Nat Nasworth with the Christian Post, and I'm on a video call with Dr. Robert P. George. He's McCormick Professor of Jurisprudence at Princeton University, and also, importantly for our conversation, he serves on the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom. And he started a petition, which is available at iraqrescue.org, which argues that the international community should do more to take out ISIS, sometimes referred to as ISIL, or the Islamic State. Some of the signers of the petition include Russell Moore, Ben Carson, Eric Metaxas. Also, the petition points out that the signers include Democrats and Republicans, and is also crosses ideological lines. So, Dr. George, why did you think it was important to come out with this petition at this point? You know, there's so much going on right now. Al-Qaeda's a threat. You have Hamas launching rockets at Israel. So why ISIS in particular, and why did you find it important to start this petition?
Yeah, first let me thank you for permitting me to have this interview with you and to get my message out. Second, I need to point out that although you're right, I do serve on the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, I'm speaking here and acting in my individual capacity, not on behalf of the Commission, so I'm not speaking for the Commission. Why ISIL? Why now? ISIL now because ISIL is committing genocide against religious minorities, Yazidis, Christians, and others in Iraq. We're witnessing the beginning of something that could turn out to be very much like the Rwanda genocide. And we don't want to look back on this episode the way we today look back on Rwanda, saying to ourselves, we should have done something to stop it. We shouldn't have stood aside. Well, let's not stand aside now. We need to petition our government, which is what I and those joining me are doing, to provide military assistance as well as humanitarian aid to the people who are being persecuted by the Islamic State. We need to aid the Kurdish rebels, the Kurdish fighters, I should say, the Sunni tribesmen and others who are fighting to protect their communities against this brutal, atrocious terrorist organization known as the Islamic State of Syria and Iraq, or the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. So I don't think we have any real moral choice here. It's our obligation to come to the aid of these people. We need to destroy ISIL as a military fighting force. Nothing short of that will do, by the way, Knapp. We can't simply push them back behind borders. They don't have borders. They are dedicated to destroying any communities in Iraq or more broadly in the Middle East and beyond who do not share their particular radical vision of Islam. That includes Muslims, by the way. They're prepared to kill, to murder, to enslave, to torture anybody of any faith who stands in their way. So we've got to stop them, and that will require military support. It doesn't require boots on the ground from the United States, but it does require airstrikes. It requires intelligence and strategic support for the Kurds, for the Sunni tribesmen, for others who are fighting to protect innocent people in Iraq.
Right. So, from a just war theory perspective, I take it you consider just war theory before, taking this position. So, how does that apply in this situation?
Well, we invoke just war theory in the petition. The petition is called a plea on behalf of the victims of ISIL barbarism in Iraq, and I hope that people will go to our website, which is www.iraqrescue.org. That's all one word, iraqrescue.org, and read the petition and see if you agree and sign it. We invoke just war theory. Now, just war theory has two main components. First, there needs to be a just cause for using military force. And secondly, the norms of morality governing military force, the use of military force, must be observed. So we are opposed to doing what ISIL and ISIS are doing, even to resist them, which is deliberately killing innocent people, targeting non-combatants. For example, just war theory forbids that, and we say in the plea that we want everything to be done that needs to be done to defeat ISIL within the norms of just war theory. So we are against killing combatants and non-combatants, deliberately targeting non-combatants, even to defeat ISIL. We can defeat ISIL, though, without resorting to those kinds of tactics. So we need to do it. And obviously, we have a just cause. I mean, the just cause is protecting people from genocide. We should have prevented genocide in Rwanda. Let's prevent it in Iraq.
Okay, and could it be, some of the stories came out recently that maybe the Obama administration is actually doing what you ask, but they're not being forthcoming about all that they're doing, maybe for diplomatic reasons, and they're being secretive. So could it be that they're actually doing what you're asking them to do?
Well, the important thing is that they do it. And by doing it, I mean two things: providing humanitarian assistance, uh, providing much more humanitarian assistance than I am aware of being provided at the moment. And number two, providing military support. That's airstrikes, that's intelligence and strategic support for the forces that I mentioned earlier. The important thing is that they do it. It's not important that they tell me or tell you or tell the public that they're doing it. It's important that they do it. Now, from the information that I've been able to acquire, and we have good sources in Iraq, not enough is being done. So we're going to continue to press the Obama administration, the Congress, the international community. We have people in Britain and in Europe who are joining us and pressing their own governments to do the right thing here. We're going to continue to press until we see definitive signs that the work that needs to be done, both humanitarian and military, is being done.
Yesterday, Kirsten Powers had an op-ed in U.S. Today where she argued that the Obama administration has uh, not paid enough attention to the plight of Christians being persecuted in the Middle East. I don't know if you saw that, but I wonder if what you felt about that was that a little too harsh, or do you think he should be doing more to speak out about that?
Yeah, I mean, the administration certainly should be doing more. Now, any administration has a lot of things on its mind when it comes to American foreign policy, international relations, and strategic military and economic concerns. I get that. I understand that. You can't do everything. But it is clear that for many years now, not enough has been done, even to recognize the fact of the persecution of Christians. Now, I myself attribute that in part, it's not the whole story, but part of the story is a pernicious and false narrative, according to which Christians are regarded as the persecutors and never the persecuted. But if we look around the world today, Christians are very rarely the persecutors. They are almost always in all places among the persecuted. If we look to North Korea, China, Vietnam, Iran, Iraq, obviously, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Nigeria, Cuba, we look across the globe where we find religious persecution. Yes, there's persecution of Jews for sure, and that's rising. Anti-Semitism is on the rise. It's got to be opposed. There's persecution of Muslim minorities, such as the Uyghurs in China, such as the Rohingya in Burma. But the constant seems to be the persecution of Christians. China, Saudi Arabia, the Filipino guest workers there, the Coptic Christians in Egypt, and so forth. So we need to break that narrative. We need to tell the truth about the reality of Christian persecution, and we need to begin doing something serious about it. We cannot let Christian persecution remain under a veil of silence while we recognize, as we should, the persecution of non-Christians. That doesn't work. That's not right. We shouldn't regard Christians as special because all men are made in the image and likeness of God. We need to stand up equally and forcefully for all who are persecuted, but let's not let Christians be those singled out for silence.
Dr. George, so again, the website is iraqrescue.org. When I checked this morning, you had over 3,000 signatures. So anybody watching, if you want to sign, go to that website. Thanks again for speaking to us.
My pleasure, Nat. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
You're welcome.